Many Pokemon fans would agree that the older games have a special charm to them that the newer games just don't have. Part of that could definitely be due to nostalgia and memories from being way younger, but there's more to it. I absolutely love the simple overhead view playstyle where you're just a little pixel model roaming around wherever you please. Moving around in the open world is very cool too. It's great seeing how far Pokemon has made it, but part of me appreciates the old style of the games a lot more. What I think is that this brings the perfect opportunity for Nintendo to bring back the old way of playing by bringing back classic Pokemon games to the Switch. Myself, along with many others, were actually expecting old Pokemon games on the Switch earlier this year. There was a ton of hype and speculation going around, and I was really surprised and disappointed when nothing was announced back on Pokemon Day. But does this mean that it will never happen? Definitely not. Back on the 3DS, we actually got some of the classics ported to the system. It was only generations 1 and 2, but that's better than what we currently have on the Switch, which is absolutely nothing. I had a great time replaying the classics on the 3DS, and they were set up in a way where you had to buy each game individually. Would Nintendo do it that same way on the Switch, or use the Switch Online expansion pack system? There are flaws with both ways of doing it, and it really makes me wonder, will the classic Pokemon games ever be on the Switch? Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone watching because you guys are really making my dreams come true here on YouTube. If you've been watching and you're not subscribed yet, then please do, because around 90% of my recent viewers are not actually subscribed. Thank you guys again for watching, and let's get started. Before diving into when this could happen, it's important to remember that Nintendo might not ever put the classic games on the Switch. I don't want to get anyone's excitement levels too high and get people's hopes up for something that might not end up ever happening, so keep that in mind. Thinking from a business perspective, it makes perfect sense to bring back the classic games. Whether they brought them back one by one as separate purchases or to the expansion pack, Nintendo would just be raking in money. If they went down the expansion pack route, that would mean that so many more people would be signing up for the service because the current game library is kind of weak. There are only 6 GBA games, and I'm not really too excited about any of them. But remember earlier when I said there would be flaws no matter what Nintendo chose to do? One example is if someone were to sign up for just 1 year and they played a game like Pokemon Sapphire pretty often. If they didn't pay for another year of this service, their save file would be completely locked up with no way of accessing it until you paid again. This is very similar to how Pokemon Home already works, where if you pay for the premium plan and deposit more than the 30 free Pokemon slots, those Pokemon are completely locked up until you pay for the premium plan again. I don't know how else to word it other than to say that this kinda sucks. It almost feels like bait to buy Pokemon Home Premium and deposit a lot of Pokemon, because at that point you'd either have to move them all into other games or keep paying to access them. Let's get back on topic though. Adding classic Pokemon games to the expansion pack would have that issue of people losing access to their entire save file unless they pay, which would really be a bummer. Another way Nintendo could bring back these games would be exactly how old games were on the 3DS. All Pokemon games from Gen 1 and 2 on the 3DS were $10, but did go on sale at some point, and you had to buy them individually. The only problem I could see with this would be it would feel pretty unfair to people who pay for a service that offers Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games if some of them were excluded and you had to pay again to play those games. They could also do something like make a Pokemon Classic collection similar to Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which had 3 great Mario games in HD. I think a Classic collection would actually be pretty cool, and maybe they could include some other games like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team as well. No matter what route Nintendo takes, when could we see this actually happen? If we compare to the 3DS, that system got Generation 1 of Pokemon on the eShop almost exactly 5 years after the 3DS was released. In this situation, I don't think comparing times like this will really have any correlation. The Switch is over 6 years old now, and I think what's more important is what's actually happening right now in Pokemon. The 2 parts of the Scarlet and Violet DLC are scheduled to release in fall and winter of this year. I have a feeling that since right now we're waiting for DLC, and Scarlet and Violet are not even a year old yet, they're not going to put their focus towards anything else right now. I think the odds are we'll either get these classic games on the Switch after both DLCs have been out for a while, or not at all. Over the years, there have been plenty of great opportunities for this to happen, and I'm pretty shocked that you can't already play a game like Pokemon Crystal on the Switch. What do you guys think? Will old Pokemon games like FireRed and Leaf Green ever make it to the Switch, or is this a lost hope and never going to happen? Please let me know down in the comments below, and like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. I'm trying to hit 50,000 subscribers before the DLC is out, so please help me out.